So, shall we start?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how was the experience?
It was good. So, when you observe your breath and that stop, especially after the in breath, there is a stop, and after the out breath, there is a stop.
Correct.
In that stop, you don't care about anything, even though you hear all the sounds. Actually, I feel that you don't care about it.
Yes, that
It's
is
just
correct.
there.
That is correct. You don't care. So, actually, what happens is if you observe like that, you get disconnected from the Jagat.
Okay.
So, that's the experience you're going to get. So, you will not be perturbed by sound and sight and taste and touch and smell. So, that is the exercise.
See, I was focusing on sound.
Okay.
A very pleasant experience. Sound coming and going away. Something coming and going away, continuously happening. And then during that time, by naturally I forgot about other things. Touch, taste and all that. No?
Correct.
Is it that the mind can focus only on one thing?
Yes, obviously, mind and consciousness can only observe one thing. The other things are removed.
Okay.
You remember?
So, during the meditation, which one we should focus first? For example, see, if I am very much attracted to sound, is it that I should focus on sound and then just get away from there?
No. If you are attracted to sound, you try looking at sound and then it attracts you even more. So you should choose the one where you have some mastery over or some control over. Let's say I have weakness for sight. Okay, so if I try working out of on my sight, it might not really work out well because I already have a weakness on sight. So what I can do is I can take sound because I have mastery over sound and then bring sight. Okay, after some time, after I really establish it, then it becomes easy. Now, if I take sight, it doesn't really matter. So, now I'll explain to you what this means is that when I take sight, am I able to remove the wife from the sight? Let's say my wife comes in front of me. Okay, and my eyes are open and I'm watching. Can I see that object which has come not as my wife? That's the question. If I still feel this is my wife, then it will not work. Because I'm attached to wife. So every time the sight comes, I can recognize it as my wife. I don't take it like it is four elements which is coming and showing it to me and it's going back because of consciousness. I see wife walking and wife going away. I don't see it as four elements with consciousness walking and four elements with consciousness going back.
Yeah, you are not using your mind in this case because you are not perceiving something, or you are not giving any work to your mind to form some image and telling that this is my wife and then interacting, right?
Correct.
You are just leaving everything, just observing, that's it.
Just observation. So now if my sight is not that much established, what happens? I will still see her as my wife. So then it fails. Now the Jagat has been formed.
Yeah.
So what is the Ishvara doing here is to give you the experience of wife. Or in my case, it is giving me the experience of the wife. Even though it doesn't exist, the object which is coming in seems to be my wife. The person who is talking to me is my wife. So like that. So the Ishvara is giving that experience to the mind that this is your wife. Right. So the Jivi is now in trouble because the wife is going to die someday. So now I have a fear of losing her. Okay.
Yeah.
Losing her to whatever. She will go to her home, to her parents for some time. Then I miss her. Or she goes out on the for shopping. Then I want to prepare some food. I don't know how to prepare, so I miss her. Or she lands up in a hospital due to her karma, and then again I miss her. Or she's dead, then again I miss her. Because every time that object came, it was my wife. It was not four elements and consciousness. So I have to establish it as four element as consciousness. Then only the sight will work. So the better way is, sight is the most difficult actually. So we have to take sound and smell and taste and touch and then come to sight. In that was the difficult part for me, at least in my personal opinion. I had touch and sight most daunting to accomplish. So I need to come.
Yes.
Sound is easy actually, because sound keeps on passing away.
Correct.
Yeah, it naturally comes and goes. It doesn't stay like key, even sound. Yeah.
Yes, because
Yeah,
you are not.
yeah. From it's external, na?
It is
Yeah,
external.
it's external. And then it is something which keeps on coming. You cannot help not hear it. You will anyway hear some sound.
Yes. So tuning that becomes easy. Whereas touch is the next one apart from the sound, which can be looked into. So if we keep on observing it as hard and soft and cold and hot, and keep on observing that only, then it will break. That perception in the mind will break that you are sitting on the chair or you are touching somebody. That will break.
Yeah, that I think is easier. At least for me, that was easier than any other senses.
Yeah, so you have to take something which is very easy to accomplish. If you take the difficult one like sight, or for some people it might be touch itself might be very difficult. Okay, so we can't say why it is easy for some and why it is difficult for another. It depends. I don't know what is Padmashri's feeling because she is muted, but if she can share what is easy for her or difficult for her, that will be good. Okay, still muted. I don't know. Yeah, Padmashri.
No, actually, for me, it's, both sound and sight. Meaning I don't get. I can easily cut it off from my perception portion.
Okay.
More than that is little difficult, but taste and these things only when they are happening, because they are not always stimulus to you, right? Taste and touch. Actually, to tell the truth, touch we don't perceive at all most of the time. Our mind is not associated with the fact that I am in contact with the chair, sofa, or anything. The mind just forgets that. So as long as, from what I understand from your exercise, basically cutting the mind and the sense organs, the relationship between them is what we are trying.
Yeah, so sometimes Padmashri, out of ignorance also we will not feel anything. Meaning when we are sitting on the chair and we're thinking on something, the chair vanishes and the touch also vanishes. It should not be like that because all the consciousness is in the thought. So what it does is that the five senses consciousness gets withdrawn and it gets established in the thought. Okay, that we need to be careful. Other than that, it is good. What you're explaining seems to be okay. If you can do that.
Yeah. Now I start listening to the sound. Then after that, if I'm able to cut it off, I forget to. Meaning there are sounds that are coming and going. I hear the sounds, but I don't associate any of my thoughts with that sound.
Okay. So then in that case, what should happen is the immediate bliss feeling has to be felt in the heart, wherein the heart starts to expand. So that is what the Ishvara is all about. So you have cut the Jivi and Jagat, so you will only get Ishvara. So your heart starts to
Yeah.
expand.
Yeah, I can feel that. Meaning, what you call as bliss, I always call it as nothingness. Meaning, I don't feel anything at all. That is what I always feel. Bliss. It's not for me an extreme happy state. It is a state of a state of stillness. That is what I feel.
Okay. They all are the same. See, bliss can be experienced as sukha, or bliss can be experienced as a equanimity where you don't have any connection to anything. Both are same. So sometimes it so happens that you have a extreme expansion of the heart and then it stops. So then you don't feel anything at all. That is also a right thing to do. So either which way of your experience, you should have two things when that happens. One, you should feel very expansive, nowhere there is anything to hold you. That is one. Two is that you are able to sense everything that is happening around you, but yet you are withdrawn from that. So these two things have to happen. If one of them, like especially when we are in a thought for whatever reason, let's say I'm thinking on something, the consciousness withdraws from the other five senses, then it is not bliss, even though it seems to be the case. Or
No. Yeah, but if you listen to it, but then you're not associating the
Yes.
thought. You are sitting on something, but then you're not associating the thought. You know that you're sitting. The awareness is there.
Then it is
At that
correct.
time, I feel the nothingness.
Then
Okay,
it is
that
fine.
is the time I feel the nothingness.
No, that is fine then. Then you are right. Then you are on the right direction. Absolutely fine. So this we can practice all the time, and that becomes a meditation for all 24 hours. Because this one doesn't require you to close your eyes and sit. You're just observing at the very moment. There is a sound, and this is the sight, and this is the taste, and this is the touch, and this is the smell. That's all. So that is the conscious awareness or awareness meditation. So this is the walk. So when I walk, it is not me who is walking, the consciousness is moving the body. So there is no walking for consciousness, it is always there. And when I sit, it's not I am sitting, it is the consciousness which is making the body to sit. So like that, if we are able to experience that, it is wonderful. Okay, so let's continue on Bhagvadgita. Now, 41 to 46 verse is all about asking for forgiveness, because Arjuna had considered him to his friend, and he had blasted him for many occasions. So I'll skip 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, and 46. All of this relates to Arjuna's view, and then after seeing the Vishwarupa and after seeing who is Krishna, then he feels that he shouldn't have been so close with him, because he took him as a friend. Okay, so that is the thing. So he brings back the Vishwarupa. So then 47th verse, he starts withdrawing the cosmic form. So now he glorifies the Vishwarupa. So he says that apart from you, nobody else has seen, but the 48th verse is most important one. It says that na veda yajna adhyayinah na danaihi na cha kriyabihi na tapabihi ugraihi evam rupaha shakya aham nirloke drashtum tvat anyena kuru pravira. So he says that by studying Veda or doing yajna or by study or by dana, that is donation, nacha kriyabihi, by any rituals being performed, na tapabihi ugraihi, that is not driven by severe austerities, evam rupaha shakya aham nriloke, can this form be seen? This cosmic form cannot be seen. Drashtum tvat anyena kuru pravira, by or be seen by any other than you. So I am showing it exclusively to you. So that means if somebody were to go behind any one of these, that is Veda, Yajna, Adhyayana, Dana, Kriyabihi, Tapabihi, he will not get liberated. Simple. Concerns? If we do any one of
So
yeah,
so when no one can see this form other than Arjuna.
yes,
So Krishna has shown. So only because of some special qualities of Arjuna is showing.
yes, because Arjuna knew everything. Only some clarity was supposed to be given, and he was able to see that.
So it is like Arjuna would have walked, or he would have had all that, whatever is needed to be done. And then he reached that point and the consciousness revealed itself.
Yes, so the 13th chapter, there are 20 attributes what he puts into that. If we have, then you will also be able to see your own true nature.
Mm.
See, like if you start this exercise of watching the breath of everyone, you will really see the form. But we don't. We have to keep on watching it as though everybody is synchronized breathing, which is true actually. There is a synchronity in breath from ant to or any living organism. If we were to take to human level, then all breathing are almost the same.
Yep.
So you have to watch as though you are breathing through all the nostrils, and you are seeing through all the eyes, you are hearing through all the ears, you are touching through all the touch. Then what happens? You will see your true nature. There's another way of doing it.
Mm.
But the mind should be pure at that time. Otherwise, you will not get it. So,
when you have in between all that muck which is there in the mind, when a little bit becomes clear, at that point we can see. And then
yes,
again it covers up.
So when like this Jivi Jagat Ishvara, so when we are looking at sound, try to hear the sound from all the ears in all the beings.
Mm.
Then what happens? It's consciousness which is making the sound audible to the ear. It's not my sound, it's just a sound. Then the sight, then the taste and touch and smell. So like somebody is eating, and a dog is eating, the cat is eating, a human being is eating, everybody is eating. So you think, you observe that your mouth holds the whole universe which is eating. Then you can see the Virat Rupa.
Mm.
So that way to do it. So if I'm sitting, right now I'm sitting on the chair. So every being is also sitting. In one way or the other, it is sitting. It is not I am who is sitting.
Yeah, this other way around, this consciousness, whatever, we are all are wearing this garment of five senses
Correct.
and looking through that.
And we're looking through it. So now that is the intellectual understanding. But if you really experience that, either one of them,
Mm.
either the eyes or the ears or nose or tongue or the body, five senses, the thoughts disappear. And when the thought disappear, it reveals your original self,
Mm.
which is what this shloka is. So you don't have to really require any Veda or anything at all to do this. And you will never get it if you are going behind something else.
Mm.
So that's the verse. So he says that don't be afraid of this terrible form. Mate vyata ma cha vimoda bhavaha drishtva rupam ghoram idrik mama idam vyap vyapeta vyapeta bihi prita pritamanaha punah tvam tat eva me rupam idam prapashya. And in Sanskrit, ma is to cut. So it is like do not. So vyatha is to think or worry or to fear. So he says that don't fear, do not be in a state of bewilderment and looking at this terrible form in this way. With when your fear is dispelled and your heart is gladdened, and this is what would happen if we establish either one of the senses in the heart. Meaning, if we are able to cut the sound, immediately you will see that your heart expands and your heart becomes very glad. It gets filled up. So at that time, you don't require anything. So again, the former, which was Vishnu Rupa, I will show it to you. So he again shows that. And Sanjaya says that now Arjuna is again seeing the Vishwarupa and now is coming into the Manushya Rupa, Saumya Vapuhu Mahatma. So now he comes back to the human form. And he gets composed. So first he sees the Vishwarupa and then he sees how the consciousness is eating away everything. So there is Tejas and Ojas. So it's like a big monster which is cutting out everything. That is how consciousness is. Then he shows the Vishnu Rupa, which is far better than that consciousness. And in that way, my experience of last year or last September, 2019 September, where I entered into that Vishnu Loka, and then there are other three lokas in which is what I now feel. Because there are three rupas what he's showing here. One is the Ghora Rupa, wherein it's the monster which is biting into everything. Second, he puts the Vishnu Rupa, which is far better one, which is calming. And third, he comes to the Manushya Rupa, which is easy to visualize. So he changes over into three types. That means after staying in Vishnu Loka, you will again come back. That's what it says. And that's what it is shown here also. Any questions?
Mm.
No. Okay.
So Vishwarupa, no, Vishwarupa is the gross universe. Right?
Vishwarupa is?
The gross universe, where you see it in that form, eating
Yes.
everything and so on.
Yes.
And Vishnu Rupa is, you said it is calming.
Yes.
So what does that relate to? Is it Ishvara?
Yes, it is indeed Ishvara of all, of everything.
Yeah, of all. So when we said Jagat, what is it? Jagat, Ishvara and Jivi. So Jagat is Vishwarupa, Vishnu Rupa is Ishvara, and Manusha is Jivi.
Yes. That is how we can, or it is, see, Jagat is the senses, sense object. So the Vishnu Loka or Vishnu Rupa would be the Ishvara.
Hmm.
And the Jivi is the Manushya. Wherein the Vishwarupa is eliminated from the Manushya experience.
Yeah, Manusha is an individual experience. Vishwa is a universal experience.
Correct. Vishwa is the universal experience, and even in the universal experience, the maximum you can experience is the Vishnu Loka or Vishnu Rupa.
Hmm.
That will have the most calming effect.
Hmm.
Wherein all the names and forms wouldn't exist. But the Vishwarupa, what he is showing here, is the Ghora Rupa. That means say that everything is eaten away, like the monster. That he says only you can see because you have ability and nobody else. And in fact, in the next sloka, he talks about that.
Hmm.
He says that Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Sudur Darsham Idam Rupam Drishtvan Asi Yat Mama Devaha Api Asya Rupasya Nityam Darshana Kankshinaha. That means even the gods would like to see this form. But it is very hard to see this form of mine, which you have seen. Is what he says. And he goes on saying that why. So it was 52. Now we'll come to 53. Na aham vedaihi, na tapasa, na danena, na cha ijyena shakya evam vidaha drashtum drishtvan asi mama yatha. Seeing me as is not at all possible. You cannot find it in the Vedas, nor by austerity, nor by gift, nor by sacrifice can I be seen like this. It is necessary to know, but it is insufficient to reach. So you'll never reach if you do that. And then he says, there is one way you can reach. Bhaktya tu anya yasya shakya aham eva vidaha arjuna jnatum drashtum cha tatvena pravechtum cha parantapa. So the only way you can get to me to see the Vishwarupa is single-minded devotion. That means cutting out the sense object from the senses will then open up this. Otherwise, it is not possible. So in all scriptures, it talks about cutting out the sense objects from the senses. Now then you can know and see. Other than that, looking into the Vedas or austerity or gift or sacrifice will ever get this. And there is no way.
So you are able to see Sharupa only if you are away from this prapancha.
Yes. So
that means Vishwarupa is there. Vishwarupa is also Vishnu Loka. Can I say that way?
No, that is why he gives three rupas. One is
Huh.
the Vishwarupa, second one is Vishnu Rupa, third one is Manusha Rupa.
Yeah. Manusha Rupa is with Panchendriya.
Yes, so the Vishnu Rupa, what he shows, just like whatever Vishnu has been depicted with 4 arms and all that, and that is what he shows, wherein everything is residing in Vishnu. Meaning all the senses and sense objects reside ultimately in Vishnu.
Hmm.
Then he shows the Ghora Rupa where everything, or the Vishwa Rupa where everything gets eaten away. So you will really see the Tejas and Ojas in action. The only two things which are there in this world or anywhere is Tejas and Ojas. And that he says is impossible to see. That is what the meaning of this from 46th verse onwards.
So Vishwarupa is which you cannot see using our being in Prapancha. You have to go away from Prapancha.
Correct.
That is exactly what we are trying to achieve, right, in our through meditation process.
Yes. So when we cut the senses and the sense object, see generally there are three.
No, my doubt is, see, if you reach the stage without Prapancha, is a calm stage. But Vishwarupa is not calm. It is having a lot of things there.
No,
So is it the same or different is my question.
It would be different. It would not be the same. You would experience, I'll tell you what you would experience if you really experience Vishwarupa. You will experience yourself being there everywhere and you are eating everything. That is what you will experience.
Now, when we are disconnected from Prapancha, what is there? Something called everything.
Okay, now Prapancha is made out of 5 sense objects. That's all what is Prapancha. And what is sense object there? It is the Nama and Rupa. Correct? Or wrong?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'll give you examples.
Prapancha is Nama and Rupa.
Yes, so I'll tell you how it works and then we will see what we can reach there. So now, example, office. Office is a sound. There is no office there. It's just a sound. Okay, and if I treat sound as a sound, what happens? It passes away. So office passes away. So there is no it's a concept of office. So if you try searching for office, you will never find. So what is happening is the Ishvara is making office possible, which is impossible, made possible. Now what I am trying to do is to cut out that in the mind, meaning that object in the mind. So when I observe sound as sound, then the office goes away. Then when I see the building, let's say I come to that building and in Whitefield and then I watch it. It is just 4 elements. There is no building. For conventional sake, I'm calling it as building. At that moment, if I really done it correctly, the prapancha gets ended. There is no prapancha because there is no office, there is no building, there is no wife, there is no husband, and all of that will go away, will wither away. So what did I achieve is Ishwar at that moment. And Ishvara is Vishnu. That experience is Vishnu. So from Manushya Rupa, I have experienced the Vishnu Rupa, wherein everything it gets connected to that universal reality called Vishnu. Now, to attain the next step of Vishwarupa is to observe everybody breathing, everybody eating, everybody hearing, everybody, what I can say, touching and all that, everyone, everything in this whole universe. Then after some time, you'll start to see a huge monstrous form, which is eating everything away as Kala. And that is what is the Vishwarupa, what he is talking about.
So, first step is prapancha, what we are now. Second step is disconnecting from this prapancha, that is Vishnu Loka. The third step is treating everything like same.
Treating everyone or everything.
Everyone, yeah, all like one.
Like one. So if you add all the mouth, if you add all the ears, if you add all the eyes, that is what Purusha Sukta is all about. The Purusha is the Vishwarupa. That is what you will get.
Purusha is Vishwarupa. Okay. Yeah.
And that is what the Purusha Sukta also explains. It says Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad, which is exactly what he is saying.
That is what Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam.
Yes. Aditya Varnam Tamasas Parastar. So you will get the Aditya Varna. Because its mouth is eating everything. It's blazing actually. So step-by-step approach is that right now Manushya. In Manushya Loka you have Jagat. So there is Jivi, there is Jagat. And the Ishvara makes that Jagat possible. So I am now giving discourse. I know Sanskrit. I know this, I know that is what this Jagat is all about. Of 5 sense object. So the intellect, buddhi, learns something and then depicts as though it is the one which is doing everything. So now from the same mind, what I need to do is to disconnect this sense object. So I will start with something which is very easy to do out of the 5 senses. So I can take either one of them and establish it in all the 5 senses, after which the sense object goes away and only the senses remains. Just like when we go to deep sleep. Senses remain and the Ishvara remains. Only 2 things that remains. And since the Loka or Jagat is removed from the mind, that is, mind cannot perceive and feel the Loka, the senses doesn't get connected to the sense object. So there is blissful feeling of sleep, which is Ishvara. Okay. Now this is what Padma Shri wanted to explain, that when she is in touch and in sight, she is able to do this. Meaning she will feel equanimous just like a deep sleep, and you don't have any blissful as that heart expansion and all that feeling. It will be like a fresh deep sleep experience, which is equanimity. Okay, so then the Loka or the Jagat is gone. There is only consciousness, which is Ishvara, and the Jivi with 5 senses. This state of existence is Turiya. That is the 4th state. Now what we are trying to do is be in that state forever, which is like Vishnu Rupa. It will have profound peace. No peace can match that peace, because the sense objects are no longer attached to the senses. Just like the deep sleep, what we go. Now, to experience Vishwarupa, this is individual Ishvara. So now what we do is, you have to leave the pot and the clay. Now right now we have left the pot because that sense objects are no longer there. So this the pot is gone. The Nama and Rupa is gone. But we are yet to let go of the Ishvara or the clay. So what I need to do now is let go of the clay as well. So when the clay is gone or the Ishvara is gone, along with that the Jivi also is gone. So the Jivi, Jagat, Ishvara, all the three are gone. They merge into the supreme consciousness. So now what happens here, that Brahman experience would be you existing everywhere, and you are everybody's mouth and ears and nose and tongue and talk, and all of that is you. So that is Vishwarupa. This, if we experience, then you have experienced what needs to be experienced.
That means sarvam, everything is, it's like a consciousness, right?
It is
Everywhere
consciousness.
consciousness, and that is what I am.
Yes. And then you can say that aham brahmasmi. Because now you have established everywhere. There is no individual you as me, like named as so and so, and husband of so and so, and father for so and so. All that is removed. I am the Jagat Pati. So I am father for everything. So this is the step. And this is, if we practice the way we are doing right now, definitely you will achieve the Vishnu Rupa. Because without senses, Ishvara exists.
Yeah.
Without the sense object.
So to experience this, you need a Divya Chakshu. Divya Chakshu is nothing but sixth eye.
Correct.
That means the five things you will close, the sixth one will open.
Right.
And with the same that human consciousness what you have, Jivi. Through the same Jivi, you can experience that.
Yes. Through the same Jivi, you can experience what cannot be experienced in a normal.
So this is nothing but channelizing energy. Instead of channelizing energy into five directions and perception, just drop all that. Focus only on outside of this prapancha.
Yes. Correct.
Is it that outside of prapancha is the only one prapancha called the sixth prapancha? That is what this
see the
sixth sense.
No, the prapancha is made out in the mind. It can never be made anywhere. Now we have to understand what is prapancha. So maybe we will take it up tomorrow on prapancha itself. 9:28 now.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, first thing, we'll start with prapancha only. What is prapancha?
Okay.
How do we proliferate things? As soon as some contact happens, how do we proliferate things? So we will take that up tomorrow.
Fine. Thanks, Vilas.
Okay then. Catch you tomorrow then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.